2 bullets. That was all it took. 2 bullets fired from a cheap pistol by a 19-year-old boy who hadn't even finished high school. We often look at history as a series of inevitable events. We think that the First World War was bound to happen. But when you look at the morning of June 28, 1914, you don't see inevitability. You see a comedy of errors. You see security failures, lost drivers, a suicide attempt that failed, and a sandwich that, well, we will get to the sandwich. This is the story of the most consequential wrong turn in human history. This is the minute-by-minute breakdown of the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. To understand why this happened, we have to go to Sarajevo, Bosnia. In 1914, this region was a powder keg. The Austro-Hungarian Empire had annexed Bosnia a few years earlier, and the local Serbian population was furious. They wanted independence. They wanted to be part of a greater Serbia. Enter Archduke Franz Ferdinand. He was the heir to the Austrian throne. He wasn't particularly well liked, even by his own uncle, the emperor. But he was a man in love. He was married to Sophie, a woman considered too common for royalty. In Vienna, court protocol was strict. Sophie wasn't allowed to stand next to him at official functions or ride in his carriage. But June 28 was their 14th wedding anniversary. And in Sarajevo, away from the stuffy courts of Vienna, the Archduke could finally treat his wife like royalty. He wanted her right next to him in the car. Ironically, if he had followed the strict rules and kept her in a separate vehicle, she might have survived the day. The date was also a massive insult. June 28 is Vidovdan, a sacred Serbian national holiday. For the Austrian Archduke to visit Sarajevo on this day, with a military inspection, was seen by Serbian nationalists as a slap in the face. It would be like the British royal family holding a parade in downtown Boston on the 4th of July. Waiting for him were the young Bosnians, a group of students radicalized by a secret society known as the Black Hand. There were 7 of them stationed along the Apple Quay, the main road along the river. They were armed with primitive hand grenades from the Serbian army and pistols. But these weren't trained commandos. They were teenagers. Most were dying of tuberculosis, including their leader, 19-year-old Gavrilo Princip. They had nothing to lose. Their plan was simple. As the Archduke's motorcade drove along the river to the town hall, they would attack. With 7 assassins spaced out along the route, surely one of them would succeed. 10:10 a.m. The motorcade approaches. There are 6 cars. The Archduke and Sophie are in the third one, a sports car with the top rolled down. The crowds are thick, but security is terrifyingly light. There are virtually no soldiers lining the streets. The first assassin, Mehmed Basic, stands ready. The car approaches. He has a clear shot. But he freezes. He later claimed a policeman was standing too close, and he panicked. The car passes him. Next in line is Nedeljko Kabranović. He doesn't freeze. He pulls the pin on his grenade and throws it at the Archduke's car. But he forgets the grenade has a 10-second fuse. The bomb flies through the air. The Archduke actually sees it coming. Some accounts say he deflected it with his hand, others say it bounced off the folded canvas roof of the convertible. The grenade bounces off the back of the Archduke's car and explodes under the 4th car in the convoy. Chaos ensues. The tire is blown off. A crater is blasted in the road. Roughly 20 people are injured. The Archduke is safe. He shouts to the driver, "Faster! Drive on!" Kabranović, the failed assassin, swallows a cyanide pill and jumps into the river to drown himself. But the cyanide is old. It just makes him vomit. And the river, it is the middle of summer. The water is only 4 inches deep. He lands in the mud and is immediately beaten by the crowd and arrested. The assassination plot has failed. Or so everyone thought. The Archduke arrives at the town hall, furious. The mayor, who obviously hasn't heard about the bomb yet, starts his prepared speech. "Your Highness, our hearts are filled with happiness." The Archduke interrupts him. "Mr. Mayor, I come here on a visit and I get greeted with bombs. It is outrageous." Meanwhile, the other assassins have dispersed. They think it's over. Gavrilo Princip, defeated, wanders across the street to Moritz Schiller's deli. Legend says he stopped to eat a sandwich, though historians debate this detail. Whether he was eating or not, he was standing on the corner of the Latin Bridge, stewing in his... The motorcade set off for the hospital, but no one told the drivers the route had changed. As the lead car reached the Latin Bridge, it made a sharp right turn onto Franz Joseph Street, following the original, incorrect path. The governor yelled out, "Stop! You're going the wrong way." The driver slammed on the brakes. But these were 1910 machines. They were clumsy and heavy. The car stalled. The gears locked. It sat there, silent. A sitting duck. And by a twist of fate that defies belief, the car had stopped exactly 5 feet away from where Gavrilo Princip was standing. 1452, the 16th of December 2025. Ali, Princip couldn't believe his eyes. He didn't hesitate. He stepped forward, raised his pistol, and turned his head away as he pulled the trigger. 2 shots cracked through the air. One bullet hit the Archduke in the neck. The other hit Sophie in the abdomen. Chaos erupted instantly. The mob descended on Princip, beating him, wresting the gun from his hand. But the damage was done. In the back of the car, the Archduke's plumed hat rolled onto the floorboard. His last words were to his wife, "Sophie, Sophie, don't die. Stay alive for our children." By 11:30 a.m., they were both dead. 1453, the 16th of December 2025, Ali, those two bullets did not just kill a couple, they killed an era. The assassination triggered a complex web of alliances that bound the great powers of Europe together. Austria declared war on Serbia. Russia mobilized for Serbia. Germany mobilized for Austria. France and Britain were pulled in. Like dominoes falling on a map, the world collapsed into the abyss. Within a month, the peaceful streets of Sarajevo were forgotten, replaced by the trenches of the Western Front. Millions of young men marched to the train stations, believing they would be home by Christmas. They were wrong. The 20th century had truly begun, and it began in blood.